Welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we are back in the Den of Thieves with a special request. We had a company called Broken Barrel Whiskey Company out of Alameda, California, send us some samples and ask us to do a review of 5 different products that they have, and we're going to make one of them into a cocktail, also while having it neat. So it's going to be a little bit of an adventure, and I gave the notes to, instead of our typical Den of Thieves, Jared, we gave that to Carl today because Jared is absent, and we brought in the legend himself, Mr. SJS. What's going on, Mr. Scott?
Living the dream.
Living the dream? Is it a nightmare?
There's bourbon. It's a
bourbon.
dream.
It's always a dream.
It's always a dream.
I feel like this is the sea captain come to the poop deck with all the other lowlifes, you know?
Yeah, I listen, I've had the pleasure of having multiple pours with the legend in the past, and it is always fun. It is always enjoyable. His opinion often differs from mine, only because he's got a much more refined palate after all these years of drinking and swilling.
I don't think that either of us are necessarily wrong. We just like our likes.
To that ripe old age of 59.45.
Yeah, exactly right. So anyway, let's dive into some Broken Barrel here. The first 3 we are going to drink. One of them will be Cocktail Faction, and neat is what do we got, Steven? We got one is it's their small batch or what?
First one is called California Oak.
California Oak.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, finished with Broken Barrel staves.
Okay, and what's the stave bill?
The oak bill, as they call it, is 80% Central Coast Cabernet staves.
Okay. And
20% New French Oak.
Gotcha. So New French Oak and Cabernet, and it is California. So I guess they're calling it California because it has so much of the cab barrel into it. Mm-hmm. And Carl, based on what we read, it basically they take apart old barrels, break them down, and then turn them back into new barrels, and then finish the whiskey in that. Is that correct?
Yeah, everything's aged 2 years in new charred whiskey, charred oak, then put into a metal container, then built in, and then a barrel's built for what they're going to try to do with it.
Gotcha. So in this situation, it's a cab barrel and some French oak. So, and this one's what, 88 proof?
88 proof.
88
Just
proof.
Based on that description, I feel like it's going to have some really nice like wood sugars from the cab.
From the cab,
or maybe wood sugars in the cab.
So I'm expecting some fruit notes. Yeah, some fruit, and the French oak. Yeah, so French oak can be very, very deceiving as far as flavor profile.
It's nutty.
And I was going to say typically you get maybe a little bit of nuttiness. You'll get some
definitely
some
fruit
more earthy.
too.
Yeah, the cab's coming through for sure on the nose. So Steven's like me. He's a little bit more of a purist on the bourbon side. Not big on finishes, so all these are kind of different finished.
I'm getting a very nice like, chocolate-covered pecan or chocolate-covered walnut almost.
This is a 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley.
And you said these are made in Kentucky, so
yes,
it's at Owensboro.
Owensboro Distillery.
So I wonder if it's Green River, like the old Green River
prior to the buyout.
Yeah,
the master distiller there is Jacob Call.
O.Z. Tyler, Green River, Owensboro.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them over there.
It's all the same place.
Right.
Just 37 different names.
Nope. So yeah, I get a little bit of what you're picking up, the chocolate
it's
and a
like
little bit
underneath of the fruit. It's got a really nice nose.
It actually does got a really nice, delicate nose. Steven, you tasted it, all right, haven't you?
I have.
All right, you walk through your tasting piece while I'm sipping.
I like the nose a lot better than the taste, frankly. To me, the taste is just kind of there. It's nothing exciting about it.
Sort of just bland.
There's more in the nose than there is in the taste.
Yeah, I could concur with that. I will say though, for an 88 proofer, which I think that's probably why, because you and I both like a little bit higher proof stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like it has at least a decent amount of flavor for an 88 proof. Like I think once you start getting into that 80 to 100, you really, really struggle to. Well, at least 80 to 90. I think you struggle to get a lot of flavor profile into those.
I get it on the roof of my mouth, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I would agree. It's got some nice notes on the nose, but...
Well, there's a little bit up front and just dies off at mid and back.
There's almost no finish. It's real smooth. But I tell you, the fruit does ring through. I mean, you get a little bit of it's almost like a grape, like you would get from a cab, and it's dry. But Yeah, just the nuttiness that you get from the smell, it really doesn't come through that much
Sort
on
of
the taste.
dries out my tongue a little bit.
I think that's the cab.
Yeah.
I was going to say it feels very, very, very dry in the mouth.
I'm going to try it with a drop of water and see what happens.
As we have to. That's what they say, right? That's why we're professionals, right? We put a drop of water.
Yeah,
in it.
professionals.
with our fingers.
Shh. You're not supposed to tell people we use finger droppers or Stephen G's.
When I'm up in the tasting loft, like I just kind of bullshit around. Like I don't know as much as my cohorts about all the wines and bourbons, but I'm a good drinker, so I know enough. And I go to a little bit of water here, depending on which way you sniff it or whatever. Some tricks that I learned from fellow Den of Thieves, Scott over here. And I've become quite popular up there by doing that.
Oddly enough, the water makes the rye pop just enough that I think you get a little bit more flavor out of it.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Next one is the small batch, which is 95 proof. So what's the oak bill on that bad boy, Stephen?
It is 40% ex-bourbon barrels, 40% new French oak, and 20% sherry cask oak.
Oh, so another wine.
So is this essentially a sherry finish? Or is that too simple?
I mean, it sounds like it's mainly oak, but it's got the sherry's probably there to bring something forward. Probably some of the fruit notes from whatever they're distilling.
So an oak sherry finish.
Which just has the same mash bill as the last one. So it's 70, 21, 9.
Gotcha. And I'm gonna, while we're sniffing this one, I'm also going to pass around the Cornucopia, which will be coming up here in just a couple minutes. But so the small batch, 95 proof, same mash bill. The oak bill is a little bit different, mainly because of the sherry cask finish versus the Cabernet finish. So we'll have to definitely look at that. So what are you getting on the nose on this small batch?
You get a lot more of that corn popping up for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of funky. I don't know if it's corn, but it's like an old box.
A musky smell?
Maybe that isn't exactly the best way to describe it, but it's musky. Yes, thank you, Carl.
For once, I'm beating John on words.
As the legends
or musty, maybe.
Musty.
The legend says, "Why the fuck did I agree to come over here?"
So I don't know that I get a musty smell as much as I get. It has some earthy notes to it, but it's very corn forward. I mean, it's very, very corn forward. So I think you said they were 2 years and then finished, or roughly 2 years, or at least 2 years.
2 years then finished.
Right. So I think in that situation, I think we have a little bit of a.
Yeah. There may be some 3s and 4s, but I think it's probably predominantly.
Yeah, the corn is very, very prolific on this one. I would say almost like, and this is probably going to be a little bit of a stretch, like really, really mild kettle corn.
Yeah.
You know how kettle corn has a little bit of that like sweet sugar, like throwing the granulated sugar in the bottom.
Just a little bit of caramel or something mixed in.
Yep. That's what I'm almost getting.
The flavor's a lot richer on this one than the previous one.
There's like a little bit of hint like butter or something in it.
Yep. That's one of the reasons I said the kettle corn, because like you get that popcorny like smell, like a little bit of butter. I don't know. Let me taste this bad boy.
What was the corn build again?
This one is 70% corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley still.
Man, I don't know. This is definitely different.
It's got something. I'm getting this weird thing on the sides of my mouth.
Is it me, or does it also do the same thing? It just sort of dies off at the mid palate.
Yeah, mid palate. There's no finish hardly at all. It's almost like a weird like medicinal like floral note that's in that mid palate. I'm trying to put my finger on it.
Do you think that comes from the sherry?
It could be coming from the sherry, but like
or the French oak.
Sherry baby.
Man, Stephen bringing back the 1950s hits. I love that.
I was actually listening to that song the other day, so I can't say much.
Sherry baby, sherry. I mean, that was a jam. Was that Frankie Valli? Who did that?
Of the Temptations?
No,
Oh, that was not the Temptations. I think it was
way before the Temptations, man.
Frankie Valli sounds.
Sorry,
great.
I'm not that old.
Well, I'm not that old either, but you got to have at least some knowledge about music in some capacity.
Oh no, I'm the worst. I can do songs. I can do lyrics from songs that
I'm going to say it's probably like somebody like Frankie Valli. It could be like
the Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons. Okay, so I don't know. Yeah, this is just very, very. It's very corny. It's corn, and it's got a little bit of medicinalness. I mean,
It sort of reminds me of like a Whistle Pig farm stock to a certain degree.
I don't hate it, but I don't. It's not like I'm falling in love with it.
Does it make you corny, baby?
You know, I'm anxious to once we get to the
The
third
water
one
is actually
with the cocktail to see how it
interesting.
holds up against a cocktail. But
I'd rather drink this than the first one.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
definitely better than the first two.
Yeah, there's way more flavor to this.
So
Ooh, with water, the butter and that caramel you were talking about earlier with the kettle corn really comes through a lot stronger.
It helps out the nose on it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, we're so scientific with our finger droppers now that Steven's done told the secret out there. That when we
I guess I'm just going to have to buy some droppers.
No, I'm gangster. We can go straight with the finger.
Always 2 fingers.
Actually,
Wow.
that helps out the front palate, but
Hey,
And
Jared's not here,
was a
so
shocker.
I've gotta bring that level of comedy up here.
there's a little bit more on the front palate. It has a little bit better of a finish than what it did, but
But you're right. There's nothing in the back of the throat, in the
No.
chest. It just
it's like
you taste a
middle
little bit
tongue
and
it's
then
done.
gone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I don't know. I mean, like I said, don't hate it. There's just not a whole lot to it. It doesn't really hold up.
Did I really say it was like a box? What the
Yes.
hell was I? What was I? I don't know.
You said musty or
Funky,
funky.
musky,
Musky.
yeah.
musky.
Musky, yes.
Musky. You said it was a fish.
First word.
The fish.
Isn't a musky a fish? Like
Yes, it is.
Muskalung. They
So-
call them musky.
The scientific term for
So
I think this would be
swimming
one that
fish.
make sure you know which order we're doing these in because I'm centering on the barrel strength now since we are cleaning glasses and moving through. So the next one is the hearsay or heresy.
Heresy.
So heresy is the rye. It's 95.5 is the mash bill. You want to hand me the bottle? I'll go over the oak bill while you're pouring, Steve.
got it.
No, you got it.
Same as the last one, 40% ex-bourbon barrels, 40% new French oak, 20% sherry cask oak.
So sherry cask oak. So
And this is also another 2-year.
yep. So the smell on this one is much better.
No funky monkey fish smell this time.
Yeah, and it's being a 95.5 rye. I think that's probably why the rye holds up against it.
Yeah.
And this is also what we made our cocktail out of, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We did. Should I describe the cocktail? yet, or
Absolutely.
just-
So we wanted to do something unique. We wanted to bring something back for fall. So you did what with this bad boy?
I have a couple cocktail books that I was looking through, and I thought I'd experiment with maybe a gin or a rum just to be really out there. But then we just brought it back to a nice kind of old-fashioned where I used some of this delicious maple pumpkin syrup that you brought over from Rooster Kitchen. Really, really enjoy it. It's got a maple syrup and sugar, kind of a, well, what do you call it?
It's a simple syrup.
Simple
and then they
syrup with
add
puree and some
pumpkin to it,
spice.
yeah.
Very nice, very well balanced. And I decided to put a little rye in there. I put some maple bourbon I got from Starlight because I really like, again, accentuate the maple for the fall.
Right.
And then I used a little bit of orange bitters and some of that Cointreau just to give it some
Cointreau, okay.
nice fruity notes there.
Give it a little citrus pop.
Mhm.
So, all right, let's talk about the hearsay, heresy first.
105 proof.
105 proof.
Now we're talking.
And
The
this was
nose.
actually the oldest, like, when it goes to launches, this was one of their first products.
Gotcha. So it's one of the oldest
Prior
ones.
to the other two that we've tried?
Yeah, everything else has been 2020. This was actually 2018
Huh.
when they started releasing this.
So,
What do you get on the nose, Scott?
I mean, I'm getting what some of your lighter traditional ryes would be like. You get that rye spice, you get a little bit of a floral hint. I'm getting just a touch of tobacco in the very, very faint part of my nose.
Like a dry and tobacco.
Yeah, like that earthiness. So, I don't know. Can't wait to try this. Rye with sherry. That just sounds unique to me.
Definitely earthen. And sweet. There's a sweetness there, too.
Yeah, it's definitely got some sweetness to it.
The sweetness and the taste, too.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually got way better finish than what the other two have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but it's got a sweet finish. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sweet, and it's got a little bit of bite.
It lingers just long
I think
enough.
that proof really helps out when you bump it up to 105
Yeah.
compared to the other two.
Not a ton of pepper. I mean, typically with rye, you get a little bit of that pepper spice. This one's almost more like a white pepper. It's more of a mild.
Anyone else get like a
maybe
black?
the sherry cask
Miles it out.
miles it out.
Maybe. When we drop water in it, I bet we'll find something
But
different.
it pops.
I'm getting this really like pleasant licorice or almost
I was going to say,
aniseed.
yeah, so like anise, yeah. Is it anise or anise?
Anise.
I didn't say
We call 'em
anise. I said anise.
I did not say anise either.
We call them anisons.
Anison
Anise,
seed.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Anise seed. So all right.
Listeners, please reach out and email Scott if you're the proper way of saying
At Bourbon Barrel
Bourbon
Talk.
Barrel Talk
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Anise, or anise.
I know it's not anus, so stop it. Jesus wept. I could see Jared. I mean, I could see Carl over there giggling like a little girl. Jared's going to be giggling like a little girl when he hears this.
Jared's gonna text the message and be like, "You guys without me don't know what you're doing."
Right, for real.
I think the water makes it sweeter.
Really? That's unusual. Typically, when you add water to rye, you know it makes a rye pop. But I'm trusting the legend on this
I mean,
one.
that's-
I'm getting ready to dive in.
I mean, so far, out of the first three, this is the one I'm buying.
One person's opinion.
Oh, weird! With the water, I get some really strong.
It's definitely
floral
sweeter, but it's
notes
also
on the nose.
the rye pops with a little more heat, but not much.
Yeah,
But it's still sweet to me.
it's very sweet. It's got some. Wow. It's weird. Like if I had to guess, like there's some kind of weird fruit there, and it's not like a typical wine fruit. It's almost like a
It's like a grapefruit. Or
like something citrusy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, some kind of weird citrus in there. So I
I
don't know.
enjoy bourbons or in ryes that have that kind of layeredness about them.
Yep. Yeah, this is by far my favorite of the three so far that we've tried.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Are we going to do our ranking that we normally? do
yeah,
at the
absolutely.
end?
But
Yes.
we got to get through the other two bourbons
And the cocktail.
and then the cocktail, and then we'll kind of run from there. The cocktail can't be in the bourbon favorite, but we just have to be like, hey, how did the heresy, hold up against it and all that good stuff.
It is heresy.
Heresy, like the word heresy, like
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, because
I've
they-
never noticed it spelled that way. I guess I'm illiterate.
Because they say, call it sacrilegious, call it untraditional, call it heresy. It won't be we won't be offended. It's
Huh.
part of their statement on there.
Well, I'll be dang. Heresy. All right.
Think of monks lighting people on fire.
Yeah, there we
That
go.
were,
Heresy. There we go. Wow.
We went that far.
Only the Catholics would go
That's
straight
right.
into monks setting
Yes.
people on fire.
That's been a few years.
Something wrong with you all people. I don't know what the hell. Can't take y'all anywhere.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4, we got Cornucopia. This is 111 proof.
Correct.
All right. What's the oak bill on this bad boy?
This one is 33.3% ex peach brandy,
Oh, now we're talking.
33.3% ex apple brandy, and 33.3% ex cognac.
Oh, hell yeah. This is, if nothing else, this
That
screams
sounds
tasty.
delicious. Wow.
This, if nothing else, it screams tasty. I tell you what, it's got some legs on it. This is the first one I've seen that really, really kind of holds the glass. That's probably the brandy. Get a little boozy. It's a little boozy nose. Oop, you definitely get that peach brandy.
Right up front.
Get a little bit of peach.
This just screams Starlight on steroids.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
a little bit of peach brandy.
I shouldn't say anything else since I'm under their employ, but
Yeah, peach.
yes.
There's a little bit of caramel there, a hint of vanilla, some oak, but it's real mild oak.
What's amazing is this is the same mash bill as the last two. Besides the rye, all these are
Right.
same mash bill.
It's the oak bill is what makes
Yeah.
their products different, right? So the mash bills are the same, but the oak bill is
It's like
different.
a pleasant ice cream,
So it was peach
that vanilla
brandy,
and peach.
cognac, and what was the apple brandy? Was the third one?
Yep.
I haven't gotten any
Yes, sir.
apple
I'm
yet.
not getting any apple at all off the nose.
No.
All right, somebody taste this, and you start talking about the taste while I'm sniffing here. But
Oh, you definitely get the brandies in there.
is it boozy? Kind of that heavy boozy?
Oh
that
no,
brandy feels
that's
off?
velvety. That's soft.
Is it really?
Well, to me, when I taste brandies, there's just a little bit of difference. And
Well,
weird.
compared to a non-named distillery that I work for, this is very subtle on the tongue. A lot of flavor in the mouth.
it's got a presence of a finish too.
Yeah, yeah. The peach comes through. There's actually not a whole lot of, even though there's some sweetness and some delicateness. It's not like It doesn't come out and say, "Oh, caramel or butterscotch" or anything like that.
I definitely get the peach and a little bit of
And
apple.
the funny thing is the rye. There's the rye in this mash bill actually tingles just the inside part of my lips on the front. Anybody else getting that?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Little.
Yeah.
But I really get on the tonsils.
Yeah. See,
For
to
me,
me,
it
the
does.
finish still is very delicate. I mean, especially for 111, I was expecting a little bit more of a pop at 111, but
It doesn't drink like a 111.
no, it
No,
doesn't.
not at all.
No, it drinks very, 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 very mild.
Usually with apple brandy, I get more of that heat with it with rye.
Right.
But still, I'm kind of amazed at how toned down it is.
It's only 21% rye though, but you're getting those brandies, and then the last one was cognac, which maybe that's where I'm getting some of that weird fruity smell in there. This is off that cognac barrel.
You're gonna need leather or kind of.
I do get a little bit of. I don't know that I would call it leather as much as for me it's more tobacco,
Okay.
almost like a clove tobacco, like a really almost like a spicier tobacco.
Yeah.
Maybe even half sweet, like a Swisher sweet, like almost tobacco, or an acid cigar. You know those acids.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What proof was this one again?
111.
111.
This is from their Tasters Club exclusive line.
So is that like their own distillery? Pick out a pick.
Yes.
Okay.
Like their barrel society.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at me, Scott?
Which you can buy these on their website.
Not to be
from
named.
them.
Yeah. All right, man. We have a contender again here. I don't know that I don't.
This is definitely between it
I
and
am
the
This
Rye.
and
rye.
the Heresy is pretty
Yeah.
close. They're
Definitely
pretty neck and
better
neck.
than the first two.
All right. Drop of water. See what this does.
I think it mellows it out.
It kills the nose for me. I don't get much.
It killed
with the water.
the front and mid palate.
Yeah. Yeah. It just
I
becomes
prefer
flat.
this. I prefer this
Yeah.
without water.
Because there's nothing.
Yeah. It kills it. Kills it.
Yeah, it
It's
just all went away.
It's just rye.
Everything,
and-
yeah, it's
and
weird.
Yeah.
And not even that much rye.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that much rye. You said 20% rye.
21%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there wasn't a ton of rye to begin with, but I mean, but that's still considered a high rye bourbon. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to get technical on it, but
It's not quite the 95.5, but
so we got the last one here, the Broken Barrel, and it is 115 proof, and I think it has the same oak bill as the other ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Ex French barrel. I mean, ex French oak. I mean, sorry, ex bourbon, 40% French oak, and then 20% sherry. So they really like their sherry cask, which. Man, there's so many other wines that I just prefer over sherry.
Since they all have very similar mash bills, is that an attempt to like make it
Consistency.
consistency and easier for them to
Well,
try different things on the very end of it?
Yeah, so I think it gives you a little bit more flexibility for a consistency on what type of flavor note you're trying to bring out of it by changing your stave pattern.
Okay.
That's my intent on what I'm reading about it and from what I'm tasting.
yeah, when I was on their website, it's basically all the barrels are dumped into a metal cask, then tasted, then they decide what they're going to use it for later on.
So from that cast, then they
From
say
2
we're gonna
years or
use-
3 years
right.
on, they choose.
Right.
Ooh, I like the nose on this, but I don't know.
It's
I don't know
sweet.
how to describe it.
Yeah, it's corny. It's sweet. Corn, a little bit of vanilla. There's a little bit of a fruit there.
I don't, is this a thing? It smells aged, like it's a little bit more mature.
Yeah,
possibly.
it does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you compare it to the others,
It's a little darker.
yeah,
So it may have been sitting in the barrel a little longer.
this may be instead of a 2 year or
Yeah.
3 year, maybe a 4
It's
year.
got some decent legs on it. It's hugging pretty well.
Yeah, I mean it's 115 proof. It's the hottest of the group. Yeah, you definitely get more oak.
It doesn't nose like 115 proof. I mean,
No, it doesn't. So far, everything is drank well below proof and has nosed below proof.
Oh God,
Oh,
that's the best one right there. I'm putting my money down right now.
And you're not typically the barrel proof person or
No.
cast strength or
I enjoy it, but I'm not going to say it's like my go-to. This is lovely.
that's how the rest of us are. That's usually our go tos.
Huh. There's still something on the nose I'm just not picking up.
It's a lot of corn on the taste.
Do they have any tasting notes on your notes there, Carl?
No, they basically just mix this all together with the small batch.
You're right, though. There's something more unique in that than
Steve,
even
what
the
are you
last
getting
one.
anything on the nose there that I'm not picking up?
there's something, but I can't.
You can't put your
Identify
finger
it.
on it either. Yeah, I know. It's
Is it like a
so-
honey or something?
Nope.
No.
Don't
It-
put your finger in your nose.
It's a boogie.
Do people do that?
All seriousness, like, I mean, I'm trying to really figure this out. Like, it's not a stone fruit. It's not like a dark, rich fruit, but there's some fruit note there that I'm really, really having trouble picking up. It's almost like somewhere between like a apple and a berry. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not apple, but it's not like a strawberry or never mind. I'm not even going to say it because somebody will make fun of me later on. But like, I'm going to say a blueberry. Like because typically I would say you nobody smells blueberry, right?
No.
Mm-hmm. But like, it's something like in that family of berries, like raspberry or blueberry or blackberry. Like, there's some weird berry in there.
But it's still got that.
Maybe more raspberry.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. It was a raspberry.
It's still got that toasted like quality.
Yeah,
though.
it's definitely got some more oak to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, time to dive in for taste. Anybody try it yet? You tried?
Yeah, I've tried it.
All right, what do you got?
It's a lot of corn up front, and the back palate, it lingers a little bit with the corn. It's very sweet, but I sort of prefer the cornucopia at this point. The one.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light
know.
finish.
Yeah.
It's very, 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 very light finish. It's all front and mid palate. There's no finish on this one at all, hardly. Even for 115, I mean, none of them drink it proof. I will say
agreed.
kudos to them that they were able to put something out that higher proof, higher octane, that doesn't taste of that heat level.
This drink's more like a 101 to 105, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark.
The water gives it some honey note. It brings that.
Brings out some more sweetness.
It brings some more sweetness, and it's very. I think it's a honey.
Yeah, because the second and third try got a little more rye to it. Mm-hmm. But it's still.
So I'm getting some more spices now, like a little bit of like
Like an apple pie spice.
no, like a
Or-
so like cardamom.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of cardamom in
An
there.
allspice or something.
So like more like an allspice, but yeah, like cardamom, a little bit of like maybe like a touch of ginger.
Not like the anise that was earlier.
Yeah,
Anise.
Anise is just when I think of licorice. I mean, that's just what you think of, and to me, I didn't necessarily get that as per se, but
A licorice cookie.
yeah. So
But it does have something there that I don't know what it is. Like the three of us were kind
yeah,
of.
the fruit I just can't peg, and like I said, now that it's got a little bit more like that cardamom
Is it like
spice.
persimmon? 'Cause
No.
Now I'm going back in my head thinking because
It doesn't really smell like a persimmon.
Yeah. I would go fig before I'd go persimmon.
Yeah, I get
They're
a
similar
fig.
similar family.
Couldn't be persimmon because I can't stand that stuff.
And I'm with him.
and so you were liking this one is what you're saying.
It's all right.
It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It's different. Definitely different. Water doesn't do anything for
No.
it. It actually it really just accentuates the rye.
It loses everything else.
The nose though changes. The nose is actually a little bit more delicate. It's got a little bit more spice to it with a little bit of water. So I don't know.
Now the nose is better with the water, but the taste dies.
All right, it's cocktail time. So we use the heresy. Why is it so hard to say that word, heresy?
I don't know.
Anyway, heresy.
You heathen.
I am a heathen. Heathen.
That's what a heretic would say.
Wait a minute. Did you sleep during history class?
I think that's probably it because, like, instead of saying heresy, I would probably say a heretic. I probably would use heretic as a word instead of that. So that might be what the problem is.
If you look at it, even though the spelling is what HER, it does look like hearsay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I don't know. Anyway.
On a quick glance, I called it Hershey. So
I did too. The first time I looked at the bottle, I was like, "Why the hell would they call this Hershey?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe the guy that started the company, his name was Hershey or something." I don't.
yeah, my wife went. No, you're wrong.
Steven's like, you amateurs don't know how to read.
Reading is fundamental for sure.
College degree doesn't mean anything.
Yep. So cocktail. This has got some maple pumpkin simple syrup that was made by one of the local farmers market farmers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Rooster Kitchen.
We got 2 ounces of rye, a little
I'm
bit
going to
of.
have to go find
You
that.
said a half ounce of Cointreau.
Where is the Rooster Kitchen?
It's out off of what's that? So if you're going to the boat where it splits the Y and you go out towards the boat instead of going to the
Instead of
left,
going
you
up
go
to
the
Corden
right.
Pike, you go,
up.
out.
Yeah, you go up Corden Pike. Yeah,
Oh, you go out Corden Pike?
yeah, like you're going up the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
So
Corden
you're
Pike.
going up. So it's off Corden Pike.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
it's
too
someplace
far.
out that route.
Yeah.
So not too far away. The lady was super nice. She had this, and then she had some like hibiscus, rose type, simple syrup, and then something else.
Now that that's had a minute to sit in the glass, I think it's got even more of a palate presence.
Yep. The rye pops on that,
Mm-hmm.
so
The
that's
rye and
coming
the
through.
orange.
I'm getting
The
some of
orange
that.
is definitely hitting on this.
Yeah.
Mhm. I went ahead and added an ounce of maple, so it's got 3 ounces of bourbon and rye,
Right.
2 ounces of the rye, and 1 ounce of the maple bourbon. Ooh, I enjoy that.
So, all right, let me try this as a cocktail.
The pureed is definitely coming through.
It tastes like a gingerbread cookie.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gingerbread. Yeah, I could get that.
Sort of, yeah.
I get more of a
Sweeter than I like.
So for me,
Yeah.
it's like I would say it's like the difference between a snickerdoodle and a graham cracker.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
I mean,
But
for somebody,
the pumpkin isn't
That's a big
super
difference.
pronounced. But so think about the way that honey and the crispness that comes through from
Right.
that graham cracker, but then you get the cinnamon and the spice and the sugar that you get from the snickerdoodle.
yeah.
So it's that pumpkin spice. It's kind of
I don't get as much pumpkin.
Swimming
I
around.
think honestly the orange is probably the one thing we probably should have left off this, the Cointreau.
okay.
And the only reason I say that is because I think the pumpkin would be more prevalent.
So maybe add instead of that, just do a bitter
Yeah.
rather than or
I don't-
splash of bitters.
I don't even know. I think
I don't even
maybe
know.
we
Would you
should
just
leave it
withhold
out.
the orange
Just
altogether?
hold the orange altogether.
Okay.
So
But-
I do like this.
It is good. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I think that if you really want to accentuate the pumpkin, I think that you just leave the Cointreau out.
Okay.
John, you made a cocktail, non-cocktail drinker actually like a cocktail.
Goddamn, never going to hear that again.
Yeah,
Probably not.
It's good. It's too sweet for me, but it's good.
Sure, it's definitely sweet. But I mean that stuff is sweet. I literally, I'm telling you, you could take like a little spoonful of that. I put literally
You could
like,
eat that by itself.
So
It's really
I don't eat it by itself, but I do put like literally like 1 tablespoon of it in a cup of coffee with a little bit of like milk, and dude, it's delicious. Like I mean, you don't need to add anything.
I was just
else.
thinking this over ice cream.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Be
Yeah.
happy.
it's got that nice layering that an old fashioned would. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have that rye and bourbon. You have that little bit of sweetness.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to try it without the orange next time. I still think smoked would be fantastic. You get that kind of roasted, maybe pumpkin seed
Yep.
if you did it that time.
No, this is delicious. The
No qualms with it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little sweet, but
all right.
Good job.
Well, thank you.
So we had 5 drinks. We had the California, small batch, heresy, broken, the cornucopia, and the barrel strength.
correct.
All right. So you got to line them up. You got to buy a bottle. Which one are you going to buy? Which one's the best, and which one's your least favorite? Or actually just 1 through 5. Pick them out. You want me to go first?
I'll start.
You're starting. All right, Carl. What do you got?
Cornucopia, then the heresy,
Okay.
then the cast strength, then probably the small batch, then just California oak, because those two are really interchangeable, honestly, to me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to be probably just actually I might be the same as you. Cornucopia, heresy, the barrel strength, and then small batch. And the other 2 are
Yeah.
just okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
the same
same.
as you. And I'm gonna say only 2 of them that I prefer with water,
Oh, yeah.
which I think the 2 with water that I preferred the most were probably the heresy, and Jesus wept, dude. I'm dumb.
This is like a bad episode of
and
Grover's
Spelling bee
Explained.
now.
and the small batch I thought were the only 2 that I really preferred with water. So
Yeah, the other, the cornucopia and the barrel strength, you just lose everything.
yeah. All right,
Legend, please go first.
I would go with the rye,
rye. Okay.
barrel strength,
Okay.
cornucopia,
All right.
and the other 2 are
Interchangeable.
interchangeable.
That's the way we feel. All right.
100% with you.
Okay. All right.
I was going to do cast strength as the first. I think I even said that, but now that I've had even the cocktail, I really enjoy that rye that comes through. So
All
I
right.
think that's going to take my first place.
All right. So, Broken Barrel Company, Alameda, California. They gave us 5 very distinct different bourbons as far as based on the oak bill more so than the mash bill. You got money. I think they said the average price was between $30 and $50 a bottle.
Yeah.
What are you laying your 30 to 50 on? Would you buy the heresy and the cast strength, or would you buy which 2 would you buy?
For me, the hair. Damn it! Now you've got me second guessing how to say heresy. You son of a bitch. The heresy and the cornucopia for sure. I would buy those two.
Heresy and cornucopia.
Heresy and cast strength.
Okay.
If I could find the cornucopia, that definitely, the heresy, I would not have a problem with either one of those. All the rest, I think, would just sit on the shelf.
I'm with you. I take Cornucopia and Heresy. So we are absolutely split this time. So I think Jared not being here and actually having somebody that has a real opinion over the legend.
It's not just fucking with the vibe that we were sitting down.
Well, good deal. So if you want to ask any more questions about Broken Barrel and what they're doing, you can send us an email. You can find them. I think it's brokenbarrelwhiskeycompany.com or something like that. You can find them. You can find us at bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com for any questions. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those good things. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and you can get us as soon as you want on any of those platforms, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, any of those things. This is Scott and the Den of Thieves signing off. Peace out.
Bye.